love to pity ourselves and feel sorry for how shit our life is. Playing the victim is a mindset that isn't talked about in the self-improvement space that much. So for most of my life, I've always been victimizing myself. And most of it usually comes from the feeling of loneliness and having barely any friends throughout high school and even university into this day. And you probably can relate to the feeling where you just look at yourself in the mirror and you just feel sorry. Sometimes it's very overwhelming and then you just, break down, you cry, you get emotional. And in other cases, you do some stupid shit. You start some bad habits, you develop these addictions, and yeah, all of it can come from loneliness. And I actually developed a habit with victimization. I've always wanted a close friend group, with both genders, guys and girls, but I've always had a guy friend group only. And whatever I was lacking with, I would just make any other excuse besides keeping myself accountable and blaming myself. And that is such a bad thing to do because our behaviors are actually reflected from our insecurities. From the way we meet new people, make friends or see people in public, we tend to judge them based off of our own character. For me at least, whenever there's a new semester in university and I enter a new classroom full of different people, I tend to look out for those type of people who check all of my boxes. What I mean by that is if you look a certain way or if you act a certain way, then I can approach you. And it's tough because that's one of the biggest reasons why I have no friends. It's because I judge people too quickly and my standards are way too high. And I think our own insecurities plays a humongous factor to that. Because for everyone who's new, who enters our lives, we want to be able to benefit from them as well as relate to them. But when things don't work out, we tend to feel so sorry for ourselves to the point where it feels good, For a long time, whenever I am emotional about my situation, I've always felt good whenever I felt bad about myself. Then as a result, we believe we have the right to ask why. Why is this happening to us? Whether you ask the universe, God, or whatever you believe in, we just tend to question everything. It's very complicated and simple at the same time because it's happening all inside our minds. As overthinkers, we develop this delusion in our heads and create these fake scenarios about different situations. For me, at least, it's mostly social situations. But the interesting thing is, bro, most of the time, almost every time actually, we are not the victim. It's almost always our single fault. That is it. Every single action that we take, every decision that we make in our lives has led us to this point, physically, mentally, spiritually. So if you're looking at your mental health and, you're disappointed in yourself, you feel sorry for yourself, just remember that it's your fault. You put yourself here. I mean, who else is there to blame, The first step is to take accountability of yourself, is to just own up to what you've done and to realize what you've done to yourself because you did this. You are lonely because you choose to be lonely. You have no friends because you choose to have no friends, because you go around judging people too much, looking for that next perfect friend. And if you keep developing the habit of feeling sorry for yourself for that, then how are you going to grow? That is just not mature at all. And that is a big mistake that I've made throughout the past few years, time and time again. Then it eventually influences your actions. You become arrogant. You become ignorant. You just become an asshole, dude. Because we want others to feel how we feel. We want others to relate to us. When we feel sorry for ourselves, we want others to feel that same way. We want that attention. We want to show people how fucked up we are, how sad we are, how depressed we are. But I think you and I both know that no one actually feels sorry for us. You gotta be deadly honest with yourself, man. No one really cares. And it's fine, At the end of the day, it's just you and God. All of this might also be caused by the fact that we are hiding from our insecurities. Pretty much everyone on earth kind of has that one secret or one insecurity that they don't want to share, like a skeleton in the closet. We shut them out because we're afraid to admit it. We're afraid of being weak or appearing weak to others. But the reality is, you're weak. You're vulnerable. And you put on this fake persona of acting tough or acting masculine, when in reality you have these insecurities in the back of your head, deep down buried. And the more you dampen that, the more you keep it there, the worse it's going to get for you in the future, because you're going to reflect that on other people, even if it's not intentional. It's like a very slow downward spiral of, degrading our mental health year by year. Every time we just refuse to open up about our insecurities. And when I say open up, I don't mean like tell someone about it or talk to the camera about it, even though I do encourage that. But I mean, have those conversations with yourself. You gotta confirm to yourself that, hey, I'm weak. I'm not as strong as I want to be. I'm not the best version of myself right now. And you gotta just look in the mirror and say, that is okay. Like, I am a work in progress. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm going to die as an imperfect person. When I'm in my deathbed, I'm going to be a wise person, but I still have no idea how the world works. And that is okay, because as long as you stick on this journey of self-improvement, that is the goal. And the goal is the journey. But if you want like real actionable steps, my advice would be to just blame everything on yourself so much to the point where you're just motivated to do something about it. As soon as you get used to blaming yourself instead of feeling sorry for yourself, then you will be more inclined to take action. You'll be more inclined to solve your problems. Because in that case, you look at yourself and you're like, man, that was a dumb decision. I should have been more kind to that person. I should have put a smile on my face when I was walking around in school. I shouldn't have shouted at my siblings or my family, and just approached it with love. You'll eventually figure it out as long as you take that first step of accountability. Just blame yourself. And of course, it's going to be a very humbling experience, and that is good. Humility is good. Just remember, you got to take the more mature route. You got to be the bigger man, the bigger woman. You got to start owning up to yourself, owning up to God. And that is the journey. If it makes you feel better, just don't expect to figure it out, ever. Just try. That's all we can do anyways. As long as we try, we win. So, go out there and try.